Bitcoin pops to over 61,000. We got the latest and greatest consumer confidence numbers. We have the results of the ban on Airbnb in New York. We've got some earnings to talk about, even a student question. But first, I feel that I have to apologize to you, my fans, my audience. Yesterday, I hyped up a discussion between George Gammon and Logan Montashami from Housing Wire, and all I could say is I am sorry. I was looking forward to that debate, and we didn't really get a debate. In fact, I couldn't even watch the last 20 minutes of it. I was so frustrated and frankly disgusted. What I took away from that video, I won't even call it a debate. What I took away from that video is Logan is deep in the weeds. He has been a housing analyst for decades. He looks at the data every week. Now, he was typecast as someone looking at the micro. Then we have George, who likes to live at the macro. We had George talking about several macro items. And unfortunately, we didn't really have a debate, in my opinion. One of the things that I will say about both is the following. I believe, as you've undoubtedly seen, that you must follow your buy box. You must know what's going on in your buy box. And that is the most micro of micro things, right? How many new listings? What's pending? All of, active inventory, all of those things. I believe if you want to make a housing call, you need to look at the trends. You need to look at the data at least weekly. If you are going to call a housing crash, you are going to first see it at the micro. Now, if you flip to the other side and you're living at the macro, there are undoubtedly lots of macro things going on in the world. We have an M2 money supply crashing. We have, consumers, we have unemployment, we have consumer sentiment, we have all of these things at the macro. But I believe the most fundamentally missing piece between the micro of Logan and the macro of George is the bridge. I did not see the bridge discussed because there is a connection between the macro and the micro. And I say this as a trained economist. This is where I would have taken the conversation if I was involved. If George was going off on very important macro discussions, I would have simply stopped the discussion and asked George, great, I can see where you're going, and I agree that's a problem. But let me ask you, George, what happens? How does the chessboard play out if one of your macro fears play out? And the answer undoubtedly is the Fed would get involved, they would slash rates, and if it got bad enough, they would do wacky things like bank term funding programs and other things. They would be out to save the system. I believe both gentlemen are very, very good at what they do. I think Logan is a top 2 or 3 housing analysts. I think George is a wonderful teacher at the macro level. But unfortunately, both stayed in their lane, and we never got the connection between both. The connection would have been interesting because it would have forced Logan to go more economics, and it would have forced George to go more macro. If both gentlemen could have talked about how the chessboard changes, that would have been a debate because no one knows. That is an unknown unknowable. I would have loved to see George and Logan pontificate, guess, seance, whatever it is. So again, I want to apologize to you. I could not watch that video completely. I got increasingly frustrated when I saw a lack of discussion about where they could about where they both could go uncomfortably, right? Both gentlemen stayed where they were comfortable. We already know where George is. We already know where Logan is. If those two could have got uncomfortable in the middle, I would have tuned in for the full discussion. But again, that didn't happen. I apologize. That's on me. I had high expectations and was disappointed. I apologize if you watched the video and were equally frustrated. So, darn it, opportunity missed. Hey, but let's get into what really matters. What is going on in the financial news today? There is so many things. First, we got consumer confidence. Consumer confidence. Remember, folks, we talk about what happened last, expectations, and actuals with all the economic numbers. Because again, the number means very little to you and means very little to me. But what is going on with expectations and the trend? So consumer sentiment was 110.9. Again, these numbers mean nothing. Was expected to be 108, came in at 106.7. So again, below expectations and trending in the wrong direction. Again, the consumer is more and more concerned about the job market. When you're reading the consumer confidence, they are less concerned about inflation, but now more concerned about the job market, which makes sense to me. We got the first revision, the second report about Q4 GDP. It came in slightly lower at 3.2. The first reading was 3.3. Don't know if you've seen this, but GDP Now is actually forecasting 3.2% for Q1. Interesting. Also, Trueflation, again, the report that is updated daily, at least 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, is showing inflation or CPI at 1.87%. So we are having, again, if these numbers are true, we are having real GDP growth, right? 3.2, inflation's at, call it 1.9. That is a real GDP growth of 1.3%. How about that Airbnb bust? Folks, remember when New York outlawed Airbnbs? The expectation was that when you did that, you would have a lot more rental units. So this ban went into effect in August. What happened? I want to give a shout out to, hold on, I want to make sure I get their name right, Taylor Marr. Taylor Marr, this comes from Taylor Marr on X or Twitter, M-A-R-R, if you want to go see the original post. Again, remember the ban on Airbnbs was supposed to release all of this inventory so rentals would go up and rents would go down. What happened? Well, rents went up 1.8% since the ban on Airbnb. And available rental inventory. Again, this was supposed to change. Available rental inventory actually went down 9.2%. Yes, folks, rents went up, availability went down. And then finally, vacancies. Again, all of this was supposed to be released, but vacancies stayed flat. All right, vacancies were 3.2% in August, and they are 3.2% still. So, unfortunately, the ban on Airbnbs did not release a wave of rental inventory. In fact, Airbnbs being outlawed, what happened? Folks, follow the money. Just follow the money. Hotels won. Consumers lost. Airbnbs have shown not to be competitors with rentals, but to be competitors with hotels. Yes, folks, hotel expenditures, costs are up, up, up. And yes, you are hearing Sonny whine. Let me see if I can grab him. What are you doing, buddy? All right, we got him. You guys have good ears. This microphone's pretty good. All right, so the Airbnb bust that was coming did not happen. Mortgage applications. Again, folks, rates matter. Rates matter. I hope rates stay over 7%. Shoot, I'll say it right now. I hope rates stay over 7% all year. Why? Because we need to heal the housing market. The housing market's broken. We're going to have to spend time in this space of just blah. 4 million existing home sales, 3.8, somewhere in there. But mortgage applications down 5% week on week and down 12% year on year. In fact, the mortgage application posted their third Lowest week since 1995. Yeah, not good. No bueno, not good. Alrighty, folks, let's talk about some earnings. We got some notes from TJX, discount retailer. They beat top line, beat bottom line, and saw a 13% pop in holiday sales. Lowe's beat top line, beat bottom line. They did lower expectations, but they lowered guidance going forward. There is clear slowdown in do-it-yourself projects. Advanced Auto Parts actually raised guidance, beat and raised guidance. And then finally, folks, Beyond Meat said they are going to steeply reduce costs this year, aka layoffs are coming. Now, folks, I don't know if you saw that interview between Coach Carson and that ADU guy on my special Best of ORAT channel. If not, you are missing out. That 45-minute millionaire conversation was outstanding. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out, subscribe. I will be posting some of these special podcasts only on the Best of ORAT channel. So if you want to see them when they come out, need to subscribe, turn on alerts, all of that. So I have a couple of comments from students that I just thought I would share with the world. Number one, a student asked, is it okay to buy a break-even property, a break-even duplex to be specific, in a great area with great tenants that has already had all the capital improvements done, aka it's turnkey? Hopefully all of you know by now, but let's answer the question for the audience. The answer is no, in my opinion, especially if it's your first deal. If you are running the numbers and it's your first deal and you get to break even, I got bad news for you. You're going to lose money because you haven't done one yet. Second, if you want to break even, better yet, put the money in a savings or money market account and earn 5%. We are not in this game for charity. We are not in this game to gain experience. This is not a college course. We are not playing around. We do not do alligators. So this is what I told my student. I don't know the numbers because they weren't in the question. Let's just say the duplex costs $300,000. And with 25% down, everything was right, it was break even. What would I do? Again, I believe you need to do great deals. So let's say in this market, a great deal is 8% yield, cash on cash. What would I do? I would back into my offer price. For example, I would use the spreadsheet that's in the course, or I would generate my own, and I would say, you know what? What price do I have to offer to earn 8%? And here's the deal. You're going to have to offer less than list price. In fact, you might have to offer a lot less than list price. Let's say, for example, you do the math and this $300K duplex, you can offer $258,000 and get 8%. I'm making this up completely. Do the math yourself. I would write the offer up at $255,000. Folks, remember, we're in the game of writing great offers. We are not in the game of guessing what the seller has to say. If this was me and I liked the duplex, I also like 8%. I would write the offer at $255,000. I would give myself $3,000 of negotiation room and I'd be done. And I would also expect the seller to say no. And I would move on. It's that simple, folks. List price is just one person's opinion. You're the buyer. You get to say what it means to you. We only write great offers. Oh, by the way, it's never easy. It's always hard. It takes time. So that's the one. And then second, got a question from Melvin. Melvin bought the course yesterday. Melvin, thank you very much. We've already given you all your free stuff. Melvin, one of the things that Melvin sent me a note on is bought the course because he sees investors in his backyard making money and he hopes the course will help him do the same. Well, Melvin, the course gives you the process. It gives you the framework. You will have to do the execution and the daily discipline, but don't forget, one of the very special things about the course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, is you get access to a private Facebook community of 2,000 people across the world that are doing the work. The private Facebook group is worth the cost all by itself. You got to get in the group. Introduce yourself. You will likely find others investing in your area. Melvin, I give you the platform. I give you the framework. But it is on you to do the work. It's on you, buddy. Alrighty, folks. I hope you have an amazing day. I do feel terrible about hyping up that conversation between George and Logan. It was an opportunity to it was an opportunity for Logan and George to get comfortable in the middle where they are both not strong. I shouldn't say not strong. That's not fair. Where they both usually don't go. That would have been interesting. Hey, Logan and George, play this out for me. Unemployment spikes to 6%. What happens? Hey, rates crash to 4.2%. What happens? Play that out for me. Instead, they stayed comfortable in their weekly and historical numbers, and they ran off about macro stuff. I'm sorry. Take care of yourself. Have an amazing day. Later.